Well, as every theosophist knows, the Secret Doctrine was published in 1888. Well, according to an article in Lucifer of October 1889, the Russian government were onto it straight away. And I have here an article from Lucifer, and it's entitled English Books Prohibited in Russia. And it gives a list, and it reads, Mr. F. von Szczepański of the well-known house of Karl Ricker at St. Petersburg sends to the publisher's circular the following complete lists of all English publications, the prohibition of whose sale in Russia has been decreed by the imperial censorship during the first 6 months of the current year. Decreed by the imperial censorship. That really does sound ominous. Anyway, the situation in Russia at the time was that the Tsar was Tzar Alexander III. Now, he was an extremely conservative Tsar, and he took over from his father, who was more liberal, or liberal for a Tsar. It's all relative. And his father had been assassinated. Now, he was, in any case, ultra-conservative, but he saw oppression as the answer to social unrest. Now, this was compounded by the fact he had an advisor called, and I've got to work on this name, Constantine Pobedonostsev. I'll probably get complaints about my pronunciation there. Now, he was ultra-reactionary. He was anti-democracy and he resisted the development of democracy in Russia. He was the advisor to 3 Tsars, and he probably held up social and political reform in Russia for decades. So the two of them will be working together there and certainly the fact that some of the books listed here got banned, they were really must have had a whole team working on what was coming in. Anyway, there were 14 books banned on the list, English books, and 4 of them were theosophical. And the 4 theosophical books were Amaravela Parabrahm, translated by G.R.S. Mead, Blavatsky's Secret Doctrine, A.P. Sinnett's The Theosophical Movement, and Theosophy in the Churches, Lucifer to the Archbishop of Canterbury. In fact, that one is more of a pamphlet, and it is available on the internet as a PDF file if you want to have a look at it. Anyway, there are some books here. There's something in that the Russian government didn't like, but there are 2 characters mentioned here. It's mentioned in the article, and one of them is Peter Kropotkin. Now, he had a book out in Russian and French prisons. Now, he was a Russian aristocrat who became an anarchist. So clearly his stuff would not be particularly welcomed by the Tsar. And there's another book by a guy called Sergei Stepniak, and that's entitled The Russian Peasantry. Now, Sergei Stepniak, he probably at one time had been Russia's most wanted man, because he stabbed the chief of the Russian police and secret police to death in a street in St. Petersburg. Not surprisingly, he ended up in exile. In fact, he was in prison for 4 years in France, and he came here. He ended up in London. So again, his stuff wasn't particularly welcome. And the point is made in the end of the article, which reads, Angels and ministers of grace defenders, what have the poor theosophists, the conservative Mr. A.P. Sinnett included, to do in the company of such terrible personages as Messrs. Stepniak and Kropotkin? We fervently hope that the mild theosophist is not going to be confounded by Mr. Pobedonostsev with the warlike nihilists. So there we are. That was the situation for theosophy in Russia in 1889. I don't know if Theosophy was actually banned there, but Theosophy did emerge in Russia later, in the early part of the 20th century, unfortunately to be chased out by the Bolsheviks, although a Russian Theosophical Society in exile existed for many years.